Hello. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about a problem that many people face when they're getting into, saltwater aquariums and looking at stocking options for fish. One of the biggest issues that people run into is that what they call the common names for fish, which can be really confusing, especially if you're a person such as myself who's really interested in wrasses, and you'll go to various different websites, and on one site you'll find a given fish that you like, and for example it has the name of a Hovens wrasse. You're like, wow, that looks really cool, I kind of like to get one. But then you decide maybe to check out a different vendor, a different site for a little more information on them, and all of a sudden you're not finding a Hovens wrasse, but you're finding something that looks kind of similar. It's called a Melanaris wrasse. And then maybe you go to another place and you'll hear it called the pinstripe wrasse, or you'll go to another place and it's called the tail spot wrasse. The bottom line is it's all the same fish, but because of the common names and the multiple uses of common names, it ends up getting very confusing. So the good news is that the easiest way to do it is that on virtually any website you go to, if you take a look, you'll see in brackets the fish's Latin name. The Latin name, when it comes to taking the confusion out of ordering any fish that you want, and you want to make sure you get the right fish, go with the Latin name, ignore the common name. It's really frustrating because you wish you could get more standardization. I refer to the example I just gave as the Melanaris wrasse, simply because that technically is part of its Latin name and its easiest way to identify and make sure that you get the right fish. Personally, I find the Hovens name rather stupid, in my opinion. I don't like it. And I'm glad to see it looks like Live Aquaria got wised up to that and started calling it the Melanaris wrasse, because they used to call it the Hovens. And it's just a much better way of identifying the fish in question. Some other examples, particularly with wrasses, would be in the case of, say, the blue star leopard wrasse that I have. It's also known as a divided leopard wrasse on some sites. Its Latin name, the second part anyways, is bipartitis. And so, anyway, if you're looking for a blue star leopard wrasse or divided leopard wrasse, generally speaking, you go with the Latin name, which ends with bipartitis. There are some examples as well of other fish in that variety that have the multiple names as well. It's just none of them are really coming to me right off the bat right now. The other one that you'll run into, though, that's really funny is this is actually an identifier of where somebody's from. Here in the U.S., we have a tendency to refer to the regular leopard wrasse as simply a leopard wrasse. If you go or talk to somebody from, say, England, they might be talking about this thing called a peacock wrasse, and you're just like, what the heck is a peacock wrasse? I've never heard of one before. Peacock wrasse is the leopard wrasse, which once again adds to the confusion of why it's so important to focus on the Latin name when it comes to getting a fish. Now, one of the other ones that's really fun is the Christmas wrasse, which, quite frankly, that genre and label is so screwed up that you definitely want to go with a Latin name on there. Otherwise, you can find yourself in real trouble. There are about 4 or 5 different kinds of fish, and they're from totally different varieties that can be called a Christmas wrasse. I've seen the what is commonly referred to as the red line wrasse lumped in under Christmas wrasse label. The Claudia variety, H. Claudia variety, which in my opinion would be the most desirable of the Christmas wrasses and the closest thing that you would want for one. And then you have the Ornamentosus variety, which quite frankly, they're just downright mean and nasty, and you get one of those in your tank and you got a problem. So anyways, another example there where you want to be really careful about making sure that you're getting the right fish and going with the Latin name. Now, you don't see this disparity quite as much with other varieties of fish. It tends to be the biggest problem with wrasses because people will just throw out random common names left and right for the exact same fish. So once again, just double check, make sure that if you've got a question on any given fish, regardless of species, that you double check that bracket and parentheses there and double check the Latin name. You want to make sure that, you know, the fish that you're getting is what you're, the one that you're intending, and not just ordering a fish based on a common name and getting something totally different. So, you know, I've used it several times at my local fish store when they're asking me, and I say, oh, well, I want this wrasse and I give, or this fish, and give them a common name. They'll ask for clarification purposes to get the Latin name so that they can make sure they get the right one in. So, once again, when in doubt, forget the common name that they're normally called, go with the Latin-based name, and that way you can ensure that you get what it is that you're looking for. And that's all I've got on this, and thanks for watching.